Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so please do conduct multiple discussion in the evening. Sure, Raja. Give me only couple of days. Okay, I like at the moment I don't have an evening hour slot free ne because of the online ongoing 25 batch. Hopefully in this month they will be leaving, so the pass I will be able to get a time. Mona tapi merit paper ka 3 to 5 wage time hai dala mang molan karla din. So 3 to 5 should be a good time for y'all. So ඊට පස්සේ night එක 8:30 will have the session only for this month. මට ඒ time එකට යන්න බෑ because of the ongoing A level batch students ලගේ class හින්දා 25 batch seniors ද அது முடிஞ்சதுக்கு போறோம் soon as possible I'll finish and okay do the okay, I'll listen in 3 o'clock. Sounds okay? Right. So let's get started. Okay, we are going on. We are moving on for today's classroom under the communication section. And today's topic, we have to start off with what? Abhi last class again, wide area technology. We spoke about multiplexing. We spoke about QoS, quality of service. We spoke about ISP, and today's class we have to start off with digital uh, errors and digital network ගැන තමයි ඉගෙන ගන්න තියෙන්නේ. So give me a moment. Okay, let me get that out. Right. Okay, so we're going to go through with our page number 94, no? So page number 94. So we're going to commence off with digital errors. So let's get started. So we're going to start off with digital errors. Okay, talking about two different type of errors, especially when you're propagating signal in digital. Also, okay, the techniques on digital error identifications too. Right, so let's get started into page number 94. We spoke about transmission. So transmission ke on how data will be transmitted from sender to receiver. කොහොමද data එකක් send එකෙන් receiver ට යන්නේ. And then from the receiver coming back to the sender. இதுதான் basically transmission is all about. In a transmission, it can happen through wired or wireless. Okay, most of the time, okay, we will be communicating in both wired and wireless. We call it as the analog transmission, right? Also, we do have digital transmission. Digital transmission, you get errors. Analog transmission, there will be errors. We call it as impairments. Digital errors and analog errors. Last session, we spoke about the analog errors, which includes such as attenuation, distortion, noise. Okay, attenuation, distortion, noise. What else we do have? Thermal noise, intermodulation, noise, all different type of errors up the last session. When you transfer digital okay, communication, you will be getting errors. Think about a mobile phone, okay, a PC using Bluetooth, you're sending this data. Bluetooth, you're sending the transmission, right, to another mobile. So from one computer, you're sending the data to another computer. So Bluetooth link, you're transferring it. And then so in the transmission, there will be an error. So digital error can occur. So we're going to talk about what is this digital error. Okay, how to overcome all these digital errors. So when you transfer from a digital device to digital device, when you transfer data, digital data transfer karna kota, what are the errors? There will be mainly three type of errors. Most of the time digital is on ones and zeros. Analog mehema, this is analog. Okay, and whereas this is digital. Single bit error, Multi-bit error, burst bit. Okay, the receiver might receive a series of ones and zeros. 10110011. The receiver might receive the series of ones and zeros. Let's take it again. The receiver, do not write it. මං කියන්නම් time එකක් දෙන්නම් ඊට පස්සේ අපි ලියමු the receiver 10110011. Okay, the receiver might send and receive only one bit එකක් මාරු වෙලා තිබ්බොත් we call it as a single bit error. Change that occurs only in one bit. If multiple bits are changed, so this 0, this 1, and this 0. Check this out. This 0, this 1, and this 0. So 3 bits are being changed. Here we call it as a multi-bit error. Then continuous bit 100. We call it as burst bit. Continuous bit errors. So if you find a continuous set of bits which are being errored, now we call it as what? A burst bit. Burst bit is like you take a photo, a burst photo on it, and tuck 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 kitty 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 patta patta item burst. So kitty 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 errors vanda adukku naanga solluvom burst bit errors. Right? Burst bit errors, multi-bit errors, and single bit errors. Now, these errors, you can use two mechanisms, one to detect the errors and one to correct the errors. So let's see how the computer is able to detect it. We use different techniques. One such technique is CRC. So if there is an error has been occurred, now I'm sending a postcard, right? Now I'm sending the postcard. When I receive it, I see the postcard has been opened. I don't know how to do the open part. So it has been open. So that means, okay, some bugger has tried to open it. Okay, I'm sending a message and you see that the message has been already opened. So if this sender and the receiver, okay, suspect and if you suspect that someone has break in, how to detect it? We have two methods, CRC and parity bit. CRC stands for cyclic redundancy check. It's a type of an error detection mechanism which you can detect error. Parity bit is also another type, a different type of where they send one extra bit alone with the original data bit to identify as the odd parity or even parity. Okay, why not? Let's learn about the parity bit. Okay, abhi CRC ke nahi kara so let's learn about the parity bit. So suppose you wanted to send this data, we'll see. Okay, suppose we wanted to send this data, we'll see. We have to send it. Okay. Okay, suppose we wanted to send this data. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ data එක යවන්න නැතුව, right? මේ data bit එක යවන්න නැතුව to detect, no, I have to have a mechanism to detect it. So what they do it is they will send another extra bit along with the series of the data bits. They will be sending set of extra bits. මෙන්න මේ data bit එකටම they will be sending an extra bit in here like this, and they call this one as an parity bit. This parity bit will help you to identify the error. Again, I'll tell you all, they are trying to find the error problem එක හොයද කොහෙන්ද කියලා හොයනවා. So this is our data bit, this is our data bit, and this is our parity bit. Okay, so what happens in here is along with it they will take the data bit and he will count how many number of ones and zeros are there. When the data bit ticket, they will count how many number of ones are there. Okay, If they are going to send, if the sender and the receiver are both trying to send even parity nang, before we send, I'll tell Machan, I'm sending even number of ones, konjam paathuko, I'm sending, this is the time I'm sending it. Okay, double check karaganno. So in even parity, what you do it is, the data bit take one disser, one extra bit is added, and they send only even numbers. 1 2 3, now 3 is not even, so the parity bit will become 1 to make it even. So they send even numbers transmitted. Got it? So normally data bit එක යවන්න නැතුව they add that extra one bit. මෙන්න මෙයා. This extra one bit is added to make the number of ones as odd or even. The mechanism is you either have send odd numbers or even numbers. Machan, whatever I am communicating, I'm using only odd numbers. And there, when two friends communicate, we have code words, no? Okay, like for an example, with my friends and stuff, අපි කතා කරනකොට what I do it is we put the word bro. If the word bro is there, that means you are using the bro code. Bro சொன்னா மச்சான் பார்த்து பேசுடா, someone is there, maybe okay, maybe a family member or wife or girlfriend or friend or someone is there, மச்சான், whatever the secret you all have, keep this secret with us. Bro code. Do you all have something like that? Bro code that I've used. So we use the word bro. Bro, tell bro. அப்போ ஓஹோ ஹோ ஹோ yes yes bro, okay okay bro, okay okay, அப்புறம் அவன் பேசுறது சும்மா வெரி ஃபார்மலாக பேசி அப்படியே வச்சுருவோம். ஓகே, அந்த ப்ரோ கோடை தான் நாங்கள் யூஸ் பண்ணுறோம் மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் த டைம். அந்த ப்ரோ கோடை விட்டு போட்டு எடுக்கிறேன். ஸோ சேம் திங் இன் ஹியர். ஓகே, வி புட் தட் ப்ரோ கோட் மாதிரி தான். ஸோ வென் யூ சென்ட் த ஒரிஜினல் டேட்டா, வி ஆர் நாட் சென்டிங் இட் ஆஸ் இட் இஸ், we'll send only odd number. Now 1 2 3, we only count the number of ones. Here, how many ones are there? 3 are there. Now if I put a 1, it will become even. No, we only said odd, and this is being transmitted. Did you get it, Kanza? Understood? So when you send it, we send odd number of ones. When you send it, we send even number of ones. That extra bit will give you that balance. Eka maru, time to time maru, odd or even. So both will have a communication. Machan, what are you sending it? Odd or even. So did you understand? So in short, errors can occur in digital transmission or analog transmission. In digital transmission, when errors occur, we call it as digital bit errors. Okay, digital bit errors. In digital bit errors, okay, we do have three type of errors: single bit, multi-bit, and burst bit. Single bit only one bit is altered. Multi-bit multiple bits are being changed. Burst bit continuous range of bits are being changed. Langa langa langa. These errors has to be identified and detected. Okay, so what are the error detection mechanisms? CRC and parity bits. In CRC parity bit, they have their own way. So let me explain with the CRC, sorry, parity bit. So parity bit they will have they will have a rule between the sender and the receiver. We are only sending the number of ones or do even. So for the data bit, we will add one extra bit to make the number of ones as even. Or for the data bit, we add the number of ones as odd. So even if parity bit there is already one even of number of ones, that will be added at two more ones as parity. Example, let's assume another example of even parity. Even in the even okay, they are communicating with even parity. So let's assume this is the data bit we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now they wanted to send even. So how many ones are there? Only two. One for away. So only one bit I can add. So what I do is I make the parity bit as 0. And this will be transmitted. So the data bit take a parity. Like how this example. Clear? මේක තමයි යවන්නේ. But ඉදිරිම issues ඊකිද? ඉதில் எல்லா பிட்டையும் அனுப்பி கண்டுபிடிக்க மேலா transmitted. You have issues also. We'll talk about those issues. Mm, okay, so we'll see the issues also. Last example. Okay, the last example is like this. So they are sending parity bit. Okay, the rule is both the parties are sending and receiving parity. So what happens in here is this is the number of data you have. This is the data bit. So you wanted to send parity. So the parity bit is an even parity. So the number of ones in here is already even. If I put 1 here, it will become odd. So the parity bit will become 0. He will make himself as 0 so that still it is even. And then only you transmit it. The parity bit will act as that balance bundle. 1 no 0 photo. They don't, okay, in parity bit, they don't use zeros. In CRC, they use zeros. Row technique. They have their own technique on how they got it. Alincha. Okay. Got it, Shahana? So I don't remember that you did. A noise part, I'll do it, Raja. Maybe I have missed it. I'll do that noise part. Ankaranna. A noise part, Mankaranna. Anyone who didn't understand, ask, I'll help you. Guys, I think I have missed the encoding part and I have missed the encoding part and I think the noise part. I'll do it after this. So why is it considered as an error even though the ones are even in that example? In which example, Raja? It's not about the error, Raja, here. Okay. Parity bit வந்து இன்னைக்கு error ஒன்று இல்லாம இருக்கிறதுக்கு. It's like a detection mechanism. இப்ப we'll say there is a two parties are there. Parity bit நான் simple explain பண்றேன். Okay. Two parties. One is a sender and the other one is a receiver. But the problem is it goes through a middle person. Sender பேத்து இவர் தான் கொண்டு பேத்து receiver கொடுக்குறாரு. Now, the sender and the receiver should make sure that you the in the middle the message is not being altered. Yeah, send receiver doesn't know what the sender is sending. அது தெரிஞ்ச எந்தைக்கு அவன் அனுப்ப போறான் விளங்கிச்சா அப்ப ரிசீவருக்கு கண்டுபிடிச்சுக்க ஒரு டெக்னிக் கொண்டு வேணும் ஹவு டு டிடெக்ட் தி எரர் டிட் யூ கெட் மை பாயிண்ட் இது எப்படி நான் கண்டுபிடிக்க போறேன் சரி இப்போ அவன் அனுப்பினா இதுதான் ஸோ போத் ஆஃப் திம் ஹாவ் அ என்ன சொல்ல வந்தேன் அ ஸ்மால் ஓகே சீக்ரெட் கோட் டெல்லிங் தட் மச்சான் ஐ எம் ஒன்லி சென்டிங் ஈவன் நம்பர்ஸ் நான் உனக்கு அனுப்புறது ஈவன் நம்பர்ஸ் மட்டும் தான் அனுப்புவேன் அதே அது ஒட்டாவிந்தா அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் இட் ஹாஸ் சேஞ்ச்ட் பிகாஸ் ஐ வில் நெவர் சென்ட் யூ அட் நம்பர்ஸ் both of them have a communication machan if I am sending it to you நான் இங்கிருந்து வரக்கூட ஈவன் அனுப்புவேன் from this side if I am sending it to you remember I will only say not they have a like they have a contract I'm only sending even numbers for you I'm only sending odd numbers for you did you understand so இதே மாதிரி தான் so when you have the data bit let's assume okay here 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 okay here let's assume this is my data bit I wanted to send okay so before he send he will add an extra bit this is compulsory in parity bit this parity bit is added parity bit will be added always in the parity bit the data bit mix ஆகாது because if you mix it we don't know right which is the data which is the parity no so it's like a label so now he's sending even no Shahana can you tell me should I put 1 here or 0 here Should I put 1 or 0 இன்னைக்கு என்ன போடணும்? To make it even? Why? இது 0 போட்டா தான் இன்னைக்கு even ஆகுது. Because he's sending only even. This only will be sent. 1 0 1 1 0 0 0 1. So nicely the receiver கணக்கு லைட்டா கவுண்ட் பண்ணி பார்ப்பான். அவன் கவுண்ட் பண்ணி பார்ப்பான் எத்தனை நீக்கி சொல்லிட்டு. அதே மாதிரி இருந்தா ஓகே எரர். Did you get it? It is not an error. It's an error detection mechanism. Don't confuse it. It's not an error. It's a error detection mechanism. We only need to count the ones exactly. Parity bit counts only once. CRC counts the zeros. But it's a different technique. Anyone else who have doubts? And shall we write it down this? But there is also in here also there is disadvantage. I'll talk about it. All good. Nice. Any questions? I'm in a kind of a dark room today, okay? I'm not at home, so just gave it out and tried in my sister's house in there. Saying that I'm not a video on கிடக்கிறது ஸோ கிட்ஸ் எல்லாம் சும்மா இப்படி புஸ் புஸ்ன்னு போவாங்க ஓகே திடீர்னு வந்து பாயும் அதான் ஐ வாஸ் டர்னிங் ஆஃப் த வீடியோ ரைட் ஸோ hope you all have done. Api A level leke make vitra ikana kandone. So you basically needs to identify a parity check is a error detection mechanism where they will add an extra bit, okay, called as a parity bit, okay, to keep the number of ones as odd or even. Okay, let's get the next one. There are two types of error correction mechanisms. One, backward error control, forward error control. When the receiver detects an error, the data is received and it requests back to the sender to retransmit. In backward error mechanism making backward error control detects errors only. So in here, they detect the error, like what? Like the parity bit we did. Okay, like the checksum we did. Checksum ke like checksum. It's a technique. He will be able to detect it. Then CRC. Okay, then we have 2D parity, two-dimensional parity bit. In this mechanism, they will detect only, but they can't correct it. So detect பண்ணா inform பண்ணிடுவாங்க. In forward error control, they detect and correct errors up to certain extent. When the receiver detects some errors in the data received, it executes an error correcting code which helps to auto recover and correct some errors, like humming codes, okay, then automatic repeat request, Solomon code. So these are codes, Solomon codes, humming codes. These are different error detection and correction method. He can detect the errors and correct the errors. So before they send the data, you have to use their rule. On rule தான் அனுப்பணும். Okay, nice. So මේ තමයි ඉහළ තියෙන. අපි A level එකේ මේක විතර ඉගෙන ගත්තා. Good. So these are the error mechanism techniques. Okay. So this is under digital errors. So let's go and talk about analog errors too. Okay. These are what digital errors. Let's go into a section and talk about what analog errors too. Analog errors will have you will be having impairments too. Right. So these are going to be the analog errors. Transmission impairments, and we call them as the analog errors. Page number 92 and 93. ඊට පස්සේ we have to do, I think, communication modes උත් මං කරේ නෑනේ. Can you just give me an update quickly? Did I do communication modes? No, right? So I have to complete on transmission impairments, page number 92, 93, and 91. Transmission mode, impairments. Am I correct? Awesome. Right. So let's get started. Okay, page number 92. Now, as we spoke about digital errors, okay, there are three types where we do have single bit, multi-bit, or we have the burst bit killer errors. Okay, in transmission impairments, we do have three different impairments are there. Attenuation, noise, and distortion. These are what? Analog errors. When you send analog signal, what errors you can come across? Number one, we call it as, okay, attenuation. Attenuation is like that first love, okay, where normally we take a signal and then the signal will be propagated. When signal, you find there is a tree or an obstacle. And මේ tree එකට වැදිලා ඒ signal එකේ strength එක අඩු වෙන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. That's how attenuation works. In attenuation, the signal strength decreases. Okay, if the signal strength decreases over the time. For an example, like this, you have the signal strength because of an obstacle or anything. Okay, the signal strength decreases like that BP. මෙන්න මේ වගේ. මේකට කියනවා අපි attenuation කියලා. Attenuation is refers to the reduction of the strength or the intensity of the signal. It can be reason because of distance, because of medium properties, interference, obstacles too. For an example, a tower that propagates signal. We'll say you do have a tower. May tower එකක් propagate කරනවා signal, and you have an obstacle. Okay, attenuation can occur. So me obstacle hinda, okay, tackle hinda, attenuation can occur. Loss of signal strength. Now, right now, I'm using my, let's assume to compare it. Okay, at the moment, I'm using I'm using my 4G router. Okay, my 4G router normally internet should be giving a speed of, okay, it should be giving a speed of 90, okay, megabits per second, but actually I'm getting a speed of 480 kilobits per second because there are heavy time internet varsutti. I'm only getting 480 kilobits per second. 4G speed 4G speed can go up to 80 to 100 megabits per second. Okay, but I do get only this much. The reason is attenuation, obstacle, bandwidth delay, lot of reasons இந்த signal strength குறையும் வர வர. ஓகே, இதெல்லாம் நல்லாவே குறைஞ்சிக்குது, ஓவராக குறைஞ்சிக்குது. fast.com சொல்லி ஒரு வெப்சைட் பண்ணி அதில் போய் தான் உனக்கு இன்டர்நெட் ஸ்பீடாக பார்க்கல. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு ஸ்லோ ஆகிடு, பேக்கேஜ் குறைஞ்சி பே பண்ணிடலாம்னாலே தெரியா, பட் சம்திங் லைக் திஸ். Distortion சொல்லி சொன்னா some alteration in the signal property. Alteration in signal property. Okay, some alteration. Okay, normally we are transferring the signal like this. Now the strength correlatinda, that's attenuation. Alteration is something like this. Now let's assume we are transferring the signal, but then suddenly you see an alteration. Okay, some alteration you see, and the signal continues. This alteration in that signal, we call it as what? A distortion. A distortion can happen because of bending the cable, because of electronic interference. Okay, bending the cable because of a distance, also you might have, because of high electricity, high voltage. Okay, due to high voltage, also, what is it? Distortion may occur. Some alteration in signal property. What signal property? Amplitude or frequency change not nothing wave length change not ஏதாவது சரி உண்டு டிஸ்ட்ரோஷன்னால தான் வந்து சம் சிக்னல்ல ட்ராப் ஆகுற ரீகனெக்ட் ஆகுற திடீர்னு அதுதான் கேஸ். You are watching a movie and suddenly you see it's loading, buffering, distortion. Okay, it's taking time for you to load the website, attenuation. These things we come across in day-to-day life. All right, okay. So next one is going to be on towards noise. Noise ki like यानी some mixing of unwanted signal. Normally, your signal is propagating in this way. Okay. Min me signal like monahari meda podi change kakunot. We call it as what? A noise. Some mix happen. Okay. Some mixing is happening. एकड़ की ना भी noise का खेल. Some mixing happen, we call it as the noise. Noise can happen in different ways: impulse noise, intermodulation noise, crosstalk. Impulse noise normally comes because of high voltage or high current. High voltage you will be getting that impulse noise. Intermodulation is because of machineries. Machineries, what you know, because of electronic devices, intermodulation noise. Okay. Crosstalk is mostly when you combine signals together, like conference call is crosstalk. Okay. Conference call is an example of a crosstalk. Thermal noise because of heat. Perfect. Done. Perfect. Those are the different type of analog errors: attenuation, distortion, noise, single bit, multi-bit, and burst bit. Next one is transmission mode. How the transmission will be taken place between the sender and the receiver, between the sender and the receiver, how the transmission is going to be take. Okay, simplex only one way the transmission will happen. Half duplex you can have a communication both the ways, but only one at a time, like this walkie-talkie. Full duplex you can have the communication in both the ways, right? So one at a time, one side, both the sides, and okay, one at a time. So simplex communication is where you send a message from the sender, send a message to the receiver. Only one side. The receiver will cannot respond to it like a TV, radio, okay, a remote, okay, communication happens only in one direction. That's we call the simplex. Communication happens only in happens in both direction, one at a time. Okay, like a walkie-talkie. So either communication goes towards this side or this side, only one at a time. Like okay, internet. You send the message and then you receive it and then you respond. Walkie talkie, walkie-talkie, internet. Say we have a fax machine, emails, communication. In full duplex, we see the communication happen in both the direction at the same time. In full duplex, communication happen in both direction at the same time. Okay, you can have in there both telephone, SMS, okay, a video game. You have the communication both. So how sender and the receiver communicate, the mode. So different devices, different platforms, different application. Okay, different devices, different platform, different application uses different way. Only one way direction, we call it as simplex. Both the ways only one at a time, half duplex. Okay, both at the same time, we call it as full duplex. Done and dusted. So that's under the communication mode. So communication mode is all about how application, how devices, how platforms communicate between the sender and the receiver. One way, both the ways at the same time, both the ways in different time. Okay, simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. When you transmit, analog errors are attenuation, distortion, noise. When you transmit data, you will be able to get digital errors, single bit error, multi bit error, and burst bit errors also. Good. So these are a couple of things. Then we have the communication standards. Now, this standard is just a theoretical section, how communication has been established. So we'll take on wired connection. Okay, wired connection and wireless connection. In a wired connection, okay, we do start with a PSTN network. So let me go with the communication standard section. Me standard okko mama lassan story yak vidire keladinna. Let's start about wired connection. How and where it started. First wired connection was basically transferring voice. मैं वॉइस तमा यूज करे मैं यार यूज करा कि वो PSTN नेटवर्क किया पब्लिक स्विच टेलीफोन नेटवर्क मैं के यूज करो पुट रिसीवर रखे नाम है वेला CDMA CDMA code division multiple access CDMA था मैं यूज करे टेलीफोन में okay to send and receive voice. Afterwards, they wanted to send data. So what they did was, okay, this was completely on analog because voice is analog, no? So when the voice sector, they started adding a computer. Where when they add a computer, right? So what they did was computer was using digital and the telephone network was analog and again digital. So they had to upgrade the system to ISDN network. Integrated Service Digital Network. Integrated Service Digital Network. In an ISDN network, the speed of an ISDN network only was 64 kilobits per second. Too slow. They were only using digitalize. Itapasse, they wanted to upgrade it and make the complete communication as digital. Okay, so from here to here, they started having digital connection. Methanath digital, they started transferring digital data and digital, a complete digital. They call it as DSL connection. Okay, digital subscriber line. In digital subscriber line, in a DSL connection, it was able to go up to 14 to 24 megabits per second. Okay, ඊට පස්සේ ADSL කියලා ආවා, where they were only able to send voice and internet, no voice and data. ADSL, okay, they started bringing all the signal to the connection. So they started slicing the complete connection into different spectrum. Now, if you take the signal, it is in terms of frequencies, hertz. They started giving the first set of hertz for calls. ඊට they started giving for TV. ඊට they started giving for internet. So with this, they were able to go for a broadband connection. Broadband connection, where they are able to send both, where they are able to send, okay, they are able to send TV, internet, telephone, everything. Calls, TV, and internet ඔක්කොම යවන්න පුළුවන් වුණා. මේකට කියනවා broadband communication කියලා. They were able to send up to 100 megabits per second. So from a PSTN network, ISDN network ආවා. From ISDN, they went to DSL. From DSL, they were able to go for ADSL. And now they are using fiber optics. That is up to 1 GB per second. This is how, okay, uh, wired connection. Right now we do have. I was in a era of using ISDN. Okay, before 6, 10, 20 years before DSL was used. Telecom came up with DSL connection. Okay, කොළන් layer දාලා කෙලින්ම ඇල්ලගත්තා. So PSTN network මේක තමයි ටෙලිෆෝන් ලයින් එක. ඒ ටෙලිෆෝන් එකට නමක් කියනවා අපි PSTN CDMA, code division multiple access. Then came for ISDN. Onto the existing analog network they added digital computer. They converted the complete communication digital and they were able to send voice or data. ADSL like they started adding all broadband connection, TV, voice, data, fax, everything. Okay, different other services also, streaming service, Netflix වගේ දේවල්, cloud, ගොඩාක් services යවන්න පටන් ගත්තා ඒ communication එකේම, because they had a whole container මාරි අපිට they started using in different ways. Nice, understood, all good. Okay, so this is under wired connection. මේ වගේම ස්ටෝරි එකක් තියෙනවා wireless connection එකකට. Wireless connection එකකින් ආවා 1G 2G, first gen, second gen, third gen, fourth gen, fifth generation කියලා. First gen එකෙන් තමයි අර GPS ආවේ. Global positioning system used for maps. Megulam can go up to 15 kilometers වෙනකන් යන්න පුළුවන්, but very slow, like 2 to 4 kilobits per second තමයි යවන්නේ, mostly for tracking, global positioning. Then for phone calls they were using edge 2G signal. Easily வரும் எங்க phone when you take a phone call அதெல்லாம் 2G. Then HSPA plus, that's for SMS services, MMS services, WhatsApp, all messaging services uses 3G. It was a 4G connection, that's all streaming downloads. Download. Okay, it gives around 100 megabits per second, 120. And then we have 5G. This will go up to 700 to 2 GB. So make it my signal spectrum. Okay, when 1G can cover up to 15 kilometers, edge can go up to 2 to 4 kilometers. This is 2 kilometers. This is 1 kilometer. 800 to 1 kilometer. That's the radius on how they propagate to what channel? Radio waves. GPS, global positioning system. Global positioning system. There is also something called GPRS. Edge kada tavana kino GPRS ut kino. PSTN vanduma already existing telephone network in the cable connection ಈಗಿದೆ. இந்த டவர் like லைட் காணும் அதுக்கு தான் பிஎஸ்டி நெட்வொர்க் சொல்லுவோம். அதில் வந்து இதே சென்ட் வாய்ஸ் சேனல்ஸ் அதுக்கு சொல்லுவோம் பிஎஸ்டி நெட்வொர்க். இப்போ எங்கள் வீட்டுக்கு முன்னுக்கும் இந்த டெலிஃபோன் லைன் இருக்குது. டெலிஃபோன் லைன் தமைக்கு அன்னே பிஎஸ்டி நெட்வொர்க். அதில் யூ only sending voice. They connect a telephone and they send a voice channel. அதுக்கு சொல்லுவோம் பிஎஸ்டி நெட்வொர்க். Public switch telephone network. Sounds okay? Nice. The length on the mostly the range. How many kilometers can it cover from the tower? How many kilometers? Normally, or 1G signal can cover up to 15 kilometers. Full and full till 15 kilometers it will be able to cover up. 2G வந்து mostly from 2 to 4 kilometers it will go through. 3G வந்து 2 kilometers. 4G வந்து 1 kilometer. நீங்க அந்த அந்த டவர் ரேஞ்ச்ல இருந்து 1 கிலோமீட்டருக்கு வெளியே கூடிய போனோன்னே சிக்னல் இல்லாம அதுதான் 4Gலேருந்து 3G வார 3Gலேருந்து 2G வார அதுபோல் நோ சர்வீஸ் வரும்போது அந்த டவர் ரேஞ்சில் காட்டி. அண்டர்ஸ்டுட். They won't ask any question. These are all the theory related stuff. Just to understand the standards and everything. Because in our syllabus content, there is a section that we all have to teach you all about the technologies. Right. With that, we also come towards the end of our syllabus too. So Bluetooth and all these kind of technologies we come towards the end. Right. Now we all have to go through with the past paper sections in detail. We'll also have to do the past papers and we also have to go through with the summary of the networking lesson. So make it a complete lesson from starting from communication, wide area technology, QoS, analog, digital, WiMAX, ISP, cable types, okay, encoding, decoding, signal types, and everything. So will the internet speed depends on the tower strength? Exactly. From tower to tower they make it. And the tower illama adula sinnoru parabolic antenna undi. And the antenna தான் முக்கியம். Okay. Normally ஒரு டவர்னு ஒரு கம்பெனி போடுற அந்த கம்பெனி வந்து they will rent out those places to put the antenna in different locations. Okay. So there will be a company. What they will do is they will be basically okay making the towers അതുപോലെ rent എടുക്കണം. Right. My overall story. Good. Any other questions? Okay, so mostly from the place that you are and the tower nearest tower, okay now. So the common tower. Abhi travel karna kota vedni. Travel karna kota roaming activity now. So each tower gets connected. So when you are okay going away from a tower little by little, your mobile phone will keep on okay grabbing signal. He will always try to grab the highest range of signal. Either when you are traveling from this tower, automatically shifted to the other tower. Roaming activity session again. Good. So now we have to go through with the last past paper series. I want you guys to go through with the past paper question. which I'll be taking on our next session and discussing all the past papers. And next week we will also have a merit paper discussions too. So keep a touch on that also. That comes to the end of our session for today. We are ending it early because we finished the past papers also. That comes to the end of our classroom. So see you all in the next session. Before that, I'll have a merit paper. Also, we'll have some networking discussions too. Seminar at Darna to cover up the networking lessons, short and sweet taking. That comes to the end of our session for today. Take care, everyone. Assalamu alaikum to all of you. Bye. Ah, yes. Okay, online. Nice.